got a couple smaller Marvel stories here. Some fun rumors to speculate about, have fun with. First up, let's talk Thor 5. So Daniel RPK reported over the weekend, Thor 5 is in active development. Taika Waititi will not return for the next installment. Now, this is strange for a couple of different reasons. Number one, we actually heard about Thor 5 like a long time ago, and we knew it wasn't going to be Taika a long time ago. So that part of it doesn't seem new, but I would assume this means going from non-active development into somewhat of active development. That's kind of interesting. There's that guy that I think is pretty full of crap, that James Wangold Scooper guy, right? Because this guy basically said that at San Diego Comic-Con over the summer, they were going to announce all these missing movies, including Thor 5. And I wanted to believe that. And then after they delayed and pulled out of Hall H, I was like, this guy's a fucking liar. But I wonder if he wasn't a liar. We're going to have to keep an eye on that, right? Because this here from Daniel, strangely, kind of confirms that there's something happening behind the scenes at the studios that would indicate there is a switch into active development for Thor 5. Now, I believe Daniel said this would happen after Secret Wars. I'm pretty sure he said that. I'm not 100%. And Daniel's so vague and weird that it's even if he did say that, he could come out on Twitter the next day and be like, that's not what I meant, or whatever, right? So, take it all with a grain of salt, understand where it's coming from. But because we have heard a lot of other people talk about Thor 5, dude, the world of real people were like, George Miller's going to do Thor 5. Do you remember when we talked about that? So, a lot of possibilities here with Thor 5. I guess what I'm saying is I just wonder, one of two things is happening. Either Daniel has no new scoops and he's just recycling stuff from years ago, which absolutely could be real, or there is a switch into active development, which strangely lines up with some other rumors from less reliable people that we've spoken about recently. So this is actually kind of interesting to me. Now, the other reason this is weird is because Alex Perez had a scoop in the past couple of weeks that Thor was going to get a send-off, a death, a glorious warrior's end, probably in Secret Wars. Okay, now Alex said that, and a lot of people are like, oh shit, so no Thor 5. And I remember at the time, I think My Time to Shine reported, yeah, he'll have a send-off, no more Thor after this. Then, within the same day, Shine came back and said, actually, no, I'm hearing Thor 5 is in development, so Thor will not meet his end in the Secret Wars movie. Now, I know we're it's like a telephone game. We're talking about this person said this, that, second, and third. But to be honest, that is a part of what we do here. Alex is hinting that Thor will die, but he'll probably still remain in the MCU because, of course, he would go to Valhalla, which is technically where Jane Foster is at right now. So maybe there's a chance for Thor 5 to involve Valhalla, to involve going into different realms, to involve him being resurrected, or maybe him as more of an Obi-Wan Kenobi character or something. I'm not really sure. So that's kind of strange. But again, with Shine saying that Thor 5 was in development, with the World of Real reporting that, with that one random scooper guy reporting that, and now with Daniel reporting that, I think the main takeaway is dude, Thor 5's real. Which is so weird because, didn't Hemsworth just basically say goodbye to the character the other week? You know what I mean? He's talking about, how the character's going to die. Well, he didn't really say that, but the implication was, he was saying goodbye. Right? So you can see why this whole situation and this whole thing here with Thor is strange and weird. I like Thor. I really didn't like Love and Thunder. I think the character of Thor is going to get a lot more shine and get some respect, get his skis back a little bit. I think he's going to get his balls back in the next two Avengers movies, and I think he's going to have some big moments. I low-key feel here, Chad, and maybe this is just fanboy dreaming, but I low-key feel that the Russos are going to fix all the things that they left as a problem. So, Hulk, Thor, some of the things they did to break some of these characters, I think they're going to put them back on the shelf in a better way, which is cool. They're the guys to do it too. You know what I mean? Clean up the mess that you made kind of thing. And so I think Thor is going to get a lot more shine and be awesome in Secret Wars. Remember, there's that scene with Deadpool from Deadpool and Wolverine. Why is Thor crying? And that's like going to be a thing I think that plays into the next part as well. But Hemsworth is awesome as Thor, and I would love a Thor 5. Okay, so I'm greedy, I'm selfish. I'm hoping that he gets some major screen time and some fun stuff in the next 2 movies. And then even if he does die or whatever, there's all sorts of ways via soft reboot, via Valhalla, via all sorts of comic book shenanigans. There are ways for Thor to come back, and I would like more Thor in the future. Thor's a great character, I think, especially because you're doing a lot of X-Men stuff. I think you're going to be doing a lot of stuff with potentially like Annihilus, potentially the Eternals, the Deviants, the Celestials. We've heard a lot of cosmic shit is coming. Apocalypse, right? Thor plays beautifully within that whole world there. So I'm actually excited, although I do have to say it's a little bit vague and we're not sure. Everything that I just explained, I think that's all on point, and that's just kind of where we're at. However, we have a little additional piece here. This comes from Ryan Coogler over the last couple of days, speaking about Denzel Washington in Black Panther 3. Now, this was a big rumor out there. Denzel actually did publicly apologize for saying this, but it's already out there. And so this was Ryan Coogler on a podcast over the weekend. Let me kill the music here, and let's take a listen to what he said about Denzel Washington in Black Panther 3.
Denzel Washington, still a possibility to appear in Black Panther 3.
That's a big with it. Yeah. Like, crazy.
Black Panther 3, I mean, has there been conversations? Have you been writing roles in for? Is there a role specifically that you have in mind for Denzel?
All of that, bro. All of the above. Denzel is family at this point. And I've been trying to work with him since
day one.
Yeah. I think he's the greatest living actor. And in terms of like what he means to our culture, forget about it, man.
Facts.
I've been talking to him about this for a long time. I was surprised that when he mentioned it, but it's not like it's not true. You know what I'm saying? Like, he said a truthful thing.
You can't debate that.
Yeah. Like there's no lies there.
You can't debate that.
Yeah.
So yeah, we with it.
Yeah, 100%.
Okay. So it's real. That's good to hear, because, I wasn't really sure, even because actors, man, I mean, first of all, they play pretend for a living. I mean, how many times have actors said they're not in the next Marvel movie and then they pop up or whatever, right? So it's hard with actors. Also, like a person like Denzel, it's like, how plugged in is he actually? Was this like a conversation he had offhandedly with Ryan? Because, you would assume they'd be close, working in the industry, being prolific, being 2 black dudes. Like, yeah, you would assume they have at least some communication. So it's like, when I first heard that, I was like, I wonder, like, is Denzel... Is he speaking out of turn a little bit? Like, is it, or was that real? Because there's one thing if Ryan said, like, I'm writing a part for you. And because that's kind of what Denzel initially said, right? But you could be writing a part for somebody and then the movie doesn't get made. Maybe Marvel says no. Maybe Denzel doesn't think the money's right. All sorts of stuff, right? However, I think you look at the answer here from Ryan and like, dude, it's about as real as it can get. And I think it's a big deal. I think it's going to happen. I love that he said he thinks that Denzel is the greatest living actor of all time. I don't agree with that. I think it's Daniel Day-Lewis, but I mean, Denzel is a monster. He's in the conversation for sure, right? So this is cool. Now, what does this mean? Because of course we have rumors that Denzel could even be Magneto. Now, I will say that after a lot of the Magneto Denzel things came out, it did kind of feel like that was just a Jeff Snyder thing, and potentially just something that either he heard or, frankly, I mean, I don't know. I would have liked to assume that Jeff actually heard this, but I know for a fact, just because I follow Jeff's stuff pretty closely, he gets led astray a lot, and I think it's just because he doesn't understand nerd shit at all, right? Like, he's at this point reported that Sadie Sink is MJ, Mayday, a Gwen Stacy variant. I mean, what hasn't he reported as a rumor that she's going to be, right, in the film? So Jeff gets kind of led astray, I think, a little bit here. And it's also worth mentioning that after this popped off, because Black Magneto was a thing, dude. We talked about it here. It popped off on social media. It made major waves. A lot of the scoopers at that point started talking about Daniel Day-Lewis, which I frankly felt was like a way to sort of take control back in the narrative. And I don't know if Marvel works because I don't know about these scoopers. I think some of them potentially work with Marvel Studios, frankly. Some of them maybe don't, and they have no relationship with the studio. They don't even like the studio, but I know that some of them do. And I kind of had this feeling that, like, the Daniel Day-Lewis story was almost put out there to sort of take the wind out of the sails of the Denzel story. Not to say that like Denzel couldn't be that, but if you're Marvel Studios, you have a different plan for Magneto and you have a different plan for Denzel. You probably don't want a lot of people either talking about, getting excited about, or arguing about Denzel as Magneto, right? So I almost took the Daniel Day thing to be like, oh, it's actually this. But you know what Daniel Day-Lewis and Denzel have in common is that they're both like prolific, incredible actors. So if Marvel is looking for a type that's not actually attached to race, but is more just like, you got the skills, I would put Denzel and Daniel Day in the same category. So it's kind of interesting, right? It could actually all be connected and it could all be working. Now, my hope, right? And I don't know. I mean, I don't know how Ryan views this. I don't know how Denzel views this. But there are like great black characters from comics that like I feel if you have Denzel in the film, it is the opportunity to do justice to some of the best black characters from Marvel Comics that already exist. So I think one that popped into most of our minds would be Blue Marvel. I think Denzel as Blue Marvel could be like legendary. I think it would be incredible. He could play an older variant of T'Challa. Like, I truly think that would be incredible. Or like T'Chaka or something. That would be absolutely incredible. Even like a version of Bishop or something, which, you know, there were maybe rumors that Storm was going to be involved, that we have some mutant shit going on here. It seems like a lot of people at Marvel want Storm. Like Ryan Reynolds wants Storm in the X-Force movie. You know, Storm's Storm's awesome, right? So of course, you know, I would want Storm in my shit, frankly. So, you know, maybe there's something like that going on with Black Panther 3. A lot of mystery, a lot of curious things going out there. But I think my read on this is the Denzel thing is real. You know, the Denzel thing is real. It's, even though Ryan didn't like fully admit it, I kind of got the vibe that he picked a big role. He wrote a role specifically for Denzel, and I think he's fully aware of everything I just explained, right? And even more so. So these are just, you know, these are two kind of smaller rumors here, but they're fairly exciting stuff going on for Marvel in the future. It kind of seems like right now, of course, you've got FF coming out. I think it looks great. We'll see. You know, some people maybe not receptive. Marvel's at a sort of a low point. We'll see how the film does. It appears to be doing pretty well, but you never really know. But really and truly, Marvel, it's all about Doomsday. You know, they delayed this thing 7 months. The Russos are apparently going to go over a month longer on shooting than they originally thought. And this movie is the whole kit and caboodle. It needs to reestablish the trust. It needs to set up the new thing. It needs to be the part 1 to the part 2 of Secret Wars. It's the biggest deal in the entire world. And so that's where Marvel is at. But I actually think it's great to know that there are other people within the system that are looking ahead. You know, Coogler's looking ahead to Black Panther 3, which would obviously happen after these next 2 Avengers movies. You know, whether it's George Miller or whomever, people at Marvel are looking ahead at more Thor content. Black Panther with a Denzel character seems like a huge draw. Thor getting justice done, that seems good. Marvel really does still have a lot of fuel in the tank. They still have juice. For all of the problems that they have and all of the decline that we've literally watched happen right in front of our eyes, I still think the future is bright, man. So just wanted to go over a couple of those rumors with you. Let me know your thoughts on all of that. What do you guys think, man? What do you think of the Denzel thing? What do you think of Thor 5? Would love to know your thoughts. Thanks for watching, and if you like this clip, smash a like on the actual video and subscribe to this channel. That way more of these clips get into your feed. I've also linked the full episode below if you want to check out the entire thing, including the Q&A we do with fans. You can also watch this show live. We do it live Monday through Friday at 11 a.m. Eastern Time. And you can also find all of my content, including the videos I put on my main YouTube channel, on the podcast feed.